For nearly 5 years, Natasha Ryan hid from the world. She saw no one, went nowhere, except here to the beach, and then only rarely and only at night.
When we went to the beach, we'd sit here and stare at the sky.
The night sky?
Yeah. We'd watch thunderstorms, lightning storms.
At 18, Natasha's a curious mix of woman and girl, intensely self-conscious one moment, playfully childlike the next.
I feel free. I feel really excited that I don't have to hide anymore. I feel free.
Natasha's family and friends had given her up for dead.
Natasha, are you happy to be home?
Then, a fortnight ago, she reappeared, very much alive. Not surprisingly, her lost years came under extraordinary, even international scrutiny.
So many people find it hard that you would put your family through so much pain, that if you really loved them, that you could never do this to them. How could you do this to them?
I honestly don't know. I can't answer that.
Will you ever be able to come to terms with it? Did you ever try to contact them?
Yeah, I did.
How?
I'd pick up the phone to call them, but I couldn't speak to them.
Did you ever think just to send them a note, just to say you're alive, to end their anguish?
I did.
Why didn't you do it?
It's just gutless.
You were gutless.
When Natasha went missing in August 1998, she was just 14 years old, and she went with her boyfriend, Scott Black, who was 22. Contrary to all the rumours, she wasn't pregnant, she wasn't a drug addict, but she was distressed, overwhelmed by her parents' divorce and problems at school.
I just felt angry at everybody and everything, and I didn't want to be at school, I didn't want to be at home, I didn't want to be there in that life.
What made you decide that you couldn't go home?
I was really scared of the consequences. I thought that I would have been sent to prison. I thought that I would have been sent away either to prison or to a bad place.
I'd just like to know why. You know, I don't feel that there was anything that could not be sorted out, and I didn't realise that she was in the state she was in when she did run away.
So what kind of cleaning can you do now?
Everything. My house was spotless.
Natasha's mum, Jenny, is getting to know her daughter again. After all, she's missed out on a quarter of Natasha's life.
And I heard that you sewed curtains as well.
Yeah, just basic.
They're starting slowly, awkwardly, but the hard questions are sure to come soon.
What can you cook?
At the moment, I don't trust her. She's got to regain that trust. As for forgiving her, I probably could forgive but never forget.
What has Natasha done that's hurt you the most?
That hurt me the most would be running away that day. Like, last time I seen Natasha prior to this, I dropped her off at school. She leant over, she gave me a kiss and said, "I love you." You know, however, if a person loved you so much, how could they put you through that much pain?
Natasha had arranged for her boyfriend Scott to pick her up here. It was her last moment of freedom for nearly 5 years. And what happened after that?
Everything just snowballed. Everything just got out of hand.
So the most important decision of a 14-year-old's life turns out to be the wrong one.
Is it hard at all coming back to this spot? Is that part?
It is.
What makes that hard?
The fact that I wish I could turn back to this day and change it.
It's okay. It's all right.
Pain, you can't imagine the pain that, you know, you can't put it into words, you know. Like every day you're thinking about that person, wondering what they'd be doing today, you know, how they would look today. You just, people say time, you know, time heals, but in this case time never healed anything. It just, the longer it got, the worse it got.
What's it like coming back here?
Strange.
In what way?
Seeing the house for the first time.
For the first 4 years, Natasha hid here, in the town of Yeppoon, just 45 minutes' drive from her family in Rockhampton.
So, good memories or bad memories?
Good memories.
But it was a life of total isolation, never seeing anyone, never speaking to anyone except Scott.
So, do you think of it as a prison or do you think of it as a home?
It was a home.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Remarkably, the neighbours had no idea what was going on. They thought Scott, the unassuming milkman, lived here on his own.
Obviously a lot has been made that you're a child and he's an adult. Did you feel that you were making these choices yourself?
Yes, I did.
So you were a runaway, you weren't a captive.
Yeah.
But psychologically, do you accept that maybe he had control over you?
No. No.
So you wanted to be there?
I did.
And you wanted to live that way?
I did.
But Natasha's life was about to become even more complicated. Police charged this man, an alleged serial killer called Leonard Fraser, with her murder.
I was stunned. I thought it was a joke. I really did. I thought it was some sick joke. I didn't believe it. I thought it was some way to get me to come back.
When the truth sank in, Natasha knew she had to do something. Finally, a month ago, she made an anonymous plea to the Kids Helpline.
I said that I left home and that I was living with somebody and that somebody had been charged with my murder and that I was incredibly scared to go back home and that I wanted to go back home and I wasn't sure how.
By now, Natasha and Scott were back in Rockhampton, living less than 5 minutes from her mother's place. Somehow, someone discovered their secret and tipped off police. Natasha Ryan was about to come back to life.
Where were you?
I was sitting down there.
Were you concealed at all?
This is where police found her.
I was just sitting there.
Just sitting there? And what was your reaction when they opened the doors?
It's the notorious cupboard where, according to many reports, Natasha spent much of her time in hiding.
I didn't say anything, I was just shaking and...
So you certainly didn't want to be found at that point?
No, not like that, no.
So let's get it straight. Did you spend hours in this cupboard other
No.
than when the police found you?
No.
But
no.
you did spend hours in this room when there were visitors?
A maximum of an hour, yes. Yes.
After the discovery, another tense encounter. A reunion this mother never dreamt possible.
I just didn't want to see her. I honestly didn't. I hated her. I could have grabbed her and just shook the hell out of her. But when I seen her, you forget all that, you know. And she looked at me and she just said to me, "I'm sorry," you know, and she had tears rolling down her eyes.
She says a part of her didn't want to see you. She hated you. Did any part of you not want to see her?
No. All of me wanted to see her. I had my reservations, but all of me wanted to see her.
And still to this day, you pinch yourself to see whether it's real. I still don't believe it.
Now Natasha has a lot of catching up to do. Her little brother Chris was only 6 when she last saw him.
Red is black.
Yeah, because you had a head start.
She's missed birthdays, funerals and weddings.
And then she starts walking down the aisle with our confetti.
18 months ago, her older sister Donna was married and Natasha should have been a bridesmaid.
That's a nice photo. I like that photo.
That's her mum's bed.
I could imagine what they were going through. I couldn't feel what they were going through, but seeing now what they have gone through, I can't believe that I'm sorry.
It's okay. So, if you put the last 4.5 years into some sort of context then, how would you describe the last 4.5 years of your life?
Difficult. It was hard. It was hard to be away from my family that long. It was hard to be secluded that long.
But it couldn't have all been bad because...
It wasn't, no, it wasn't all bad, no. We made a home. We made our own little home and we were happy.
It's exciting. And this is that happy little home. Heavy curtains to keep out prying eyes, a big TV.
As you can see, we've got a lot of videotapes.
A home gym.
So this is how you kept fit, is it?
Yeah.
How many hours a day would you spend on this?
About an hour.
Friends who would never betray their secrets.
It's okay. It's okay.
Just think about the life this girl led. No sun, no grass. Her world for nearly 5 years was within 4 walls. There was no school, so she studied German on the internet. She couldn't go shopping for clothes, so she learnt to sew.
She's so
bit
white.
white.
Yes.
That's good, isn't it? But I mean, I spend a day in the house and I go stir crazy. Didn't you just want to get out?
Yeah, I felt like that a lot.
So what stopped you?
The fact that I might be seen. I was always scared that somebody would see me and recognise me.
Were you worried for your own sake or were you worried for Scott's sake?
Both.
The twist now is that while Natasha's emerged from her isolation, Scott's pretty much in hiding. It seems he's the main target of the police investigation. He could face charges of child stealing, even perjury, and that could mean some serious jail time. His lawyers are telling him to say nothing and to stay away from the woman he's shared the last 4.5 years with.
Scott gave me rings on Valentine's Day.
Natasha's understandably coy about her relationship with Scott, but clearly they were more than just good friends.
Would you like to be married to Scott?
I would think so, yes. One day.
You've seen your sister's wedding photos. Would you like to have a gala event like that one day?
I think every girl secretly does. I do, yes.
While Natasha sees it as a love story, here in Rockhampton they're less romantic. Sleazy and scandalous were some of the more repeatable adjectives, especially after she sold her story to 60 Minutes and Woman's Day. Is there any sympathy within this community for her?
I haven't heard any at this stage from anybody I've spoken to.
Local emergency services boss Lyle Dobbs led the team of volunteers who spent thousands of hours searching for Natasha.
There's certainly been a massive waste of community resources, and it's one of these things that need not have happened. The whole thing, I believe, should have been stopped a lot sooner than than it was. She could have come forward a lot sooner.
Since her return, Natasha has been severely criticised for wasting taxpayers' money. She hid while the cost of her search was an astronomical $500,000, or so the headlines screamed. But it is important for a bit of perspective. The huge hunt for Natasha Ryan didn't begin until 2 years after her disappearance, and the police were searching for the bodies of a number of missing women from Rockhampton to shore up their case against a suspected serial killer. Now, at the time, Natasha didn't know about the search. She certainly didn't know about the possibility of a serial killer.
What do you think should happen to you?
I don't know. Beat up the bum sounds alright.
Well, a lot of people would say that that's not enough.
No, I know.
Do you believe you should go to jail?
That's a hard one to answer. I do believe I deserve to go to jail. I do not want to go to jail. But I do deserve it. I do deserve to be severely punished for what I've done.
I don't want charges brought against my daughter. However, if that's what she has to do in order to rectify the situation, that's fine. But I don't want another 2 years of her life in jail because of the stupid mistake she made when she was 14. I couldn't take that.
Anyway, guys, here's to our first dinner together. Yeah. 5 years.
The legalities of the Natasha Ryan saga are expected to be sorted out in the next month or so. But right now, this family's trying to make up for lost time. Not many get a second chance like this.
I'm just glad that she's back, she's alive, and I can see her and kiss her and cuddle her and ground her.
And ground her? How long will she be grounded for?
The rest of her life.
Hello, I'm Tara Brown. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also download the 9Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.